rock stars, roadies, or groupies were harmed in the making of this broadcast. Giving it to you straight and no chaser. This is On the Rocks with J.D. Wilson. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. I hope you guys had a happy Holy Week. I know we've been on lockdown, but that's no reason for you to be glum and staying home. I hope you guys have been busy discovering new music and staying home and staying safe. Now, just a few things that got me through this past Holy Week. I'd like to thank our dear friends who have been supporting this show almost since the beginning. I'd like to thank the Misty Mountain Cafe for their amazing premium blend coffees that never fails to kickstart my heart every morning. And thank you so much to my constant source of joy, the Buenos Panaderia. Your Milo buns just give me so much joy in my life. So thank you so much for supporting us. And from our friends from Liquor.PH, guess what, man? Jack lives at Liquor.PH until the end of April. Liquor.PH is giving you 100 pesos off of any bottle of Jack Daniels, no questions asked. So you want to try the Tennessee Fire Rye like I am tonight? Ooh, this is burning me up inside, guys. You want to finally pull the trigger on a single barrel Jack Daniels, or you want to come back to your beloved classic number 7, Liquor.PH has all of these, and even free Jack Daniels merchandise whenever you order more than one bottle. And don't worry about a discount code. They've already applied the discount for you before you even check out. And as always, Liquor.PH will give you free shipping within Metro Manila. So tonight we've got an exciting episode. It's very exciting for me to rediscover music and fall in love with a band that I've known for many years. And not personally, but I've known of them. I've seen them in shows. I've actually stage managed some shows that they've been in. And these guys, they're a group that has been a fixture in OPM, creating a sound that they've stayed, that they've stayed true to, that they've grown and evolved over the years. They've gone from hit to hit. We're going to be hanging out with them tonight to talk about their songs, their ups, their downs, and how after 10 albums, they've managed to keep the faith and stay true. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jake, Eugene, Mackie, Alan, and Meds. Please welcome Truefaith. Hey guys,
Hey,
how are you guys doing?
We're good.
Kamusta?
Very good.
Very good.
Okay naman,
Okay,
JD,
guys.
classmate.
Okay.
Yeah, classmates, man. I'm so glad. Me and Meds are actually classmates in Rick Olivares' writing class.
Oh.
And as
Okay.
we were like turning in our assignments, and I'm like, yeah, man, I haven't interviewed Truefaith yet. I'm sure they have a lot of stories to tell. So, guys, first things first.
Very-
How are you guys? How have you guys been doing during this pandemic? Jake, let's start with you.
Well, of course, medyo bored at saka namimiss na yung mga gigs. And learning some stuff like paglalaba, pagluluto. Joke. chill.
Yeah, well, it's good. This pandemic. I mean, it's been a year, right? But then, we're all learning new skills. We're all trying to pivot into something new, and and getting down to the basics, cleaning the house, because for the sometimes 10 times a day, kasi wala akong magawa, magwawalis ulit ako. Di ba?
Bawal
Staying
lumabas.
home. Oh, bawal nga lumabas. So that's good. And yeah, I think we all agree that we've been missing the live gigs like crazy. Eugene, how are you? How are you during this pandemic?
Same as Jake, bored, unemployed for more than a year now. So yeah, again, I'm learning some new stuff as well. I've been doing music production on my own, and then learning French.
Learning French.
Yeah.
That's hey, you know what? I should do that. I should do that with my downtime, trying to learn another language.
A new,
Why
yeah,
French?
new language.
Why
I don't know.
French?
Well, I guess it's really difficult to learn. I mean, I'm finding it out now. The feminine, the masculine stuff that you what do you call this? The pronouns.
Yeah.
So sometimes a noun should be masculine and sometimes a noun should be feminine. So kahit lalaki pinag-uusapan mo, kung yung noun is feminine na talaga ilalagay mo doon. So aside from that, yung mga reflexive verbs, Diyos ko, ang hirap-hirap. Pero I'm enjoying it.
Reflexive verbs, guys. Do you even remember what reflexive verbs are? I mean, transitive and intransitive pa nga. Nahihirapan na nga ako. May reflexive pa pala.
Actually, nare-review ko uli yung mga English ko. Ano nga ba yung reflexive verb? Google. Nare-discover ko
Google. But
Anyway,
French is such a beautiful language, though. So that's going to come in, handy in terms of it's one of the amazing romantic languages in the world.
Yeah, the classical romantic.
Yeah, it's a classic romantic language, and you're finally going to be able to I can only imagine. I've never read a book in another language. Not in the language, right? So I actually have some friends who have given me some French books, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I don't read French. But then sometimes I try to improvise. I mean, as an actor, I've had to do a French accent.
Yeah.
And even English using a French accent is so beautiful. But I do wonder, though, if you speak Tagalog in a French accent, will that fly?
Isibuko por sale. Icebuko por sale.
There we go.
Famous words.
Okay, gusto ko yan. Pag-aaralin ko yan, Tagalog in a French language.
Tito's joke yun. Tito's joke.
Thank you, Eugene, for that. I'm gonna use that. Ikaw naman, Maki, kamusta?
Pansit gisadwa.
Ikaw, Maki, how are you during this pandemic?
I've been spending a lot more time with my family, and siguro one of the new skills that I've really picked up on and I'm starting to really love is cooking. Nothing fancy, just trying to cook yung everyday stuff namin for the house. Yun, nothing really fancy. But I try my best to come up with as many new dishes, just to surprise, keep things interesting sa dinner table. So yun, nag-enjoy ako. And aside from that, I'm trying to build my stamina again on the bass guitar because na-notice ko pag matagal mo pala siyang hindi ginagamit. And then you try to play an entire song. It's also a physical instrument because the strings are thicker, stuff like that. And
It's heavy.
I'm trying to build my stamina again. So I'm playing along to music that I like dito sa bahay, just trying to keep my chops up. So that's it so far. I really miss playing live though.
Oh, ayan, nagko-comment na. Shout out to Adrian Arcega.
Direct.
Grabe,
Adrian.
ito parang gusto ko lumuhod at magdasal.
Patron.
We need a more permanent solution to our problem.
JCS.
Good kaya fast. They're right outside our yard.
Quick, kaya bus. Go call the Roman guards.
No, wait.
We need a more permanent solution to our problem.
What did they do about
Di ba? Ang ganda kasi Holy Week, yan yung parang naturally tayo nag-gravitate to JCS pag Holy Week. Di ba?
I love that.
And I was actually looking for the 10 Commandments video. Na-download ko pero hindi ko pa napapanood kasi late ko. I mean, that was a staple. I remember Channel 9 showing that every Holy Week, round the clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I actually missed that movie. But hindi ko
And then
nahanap.
there's this-
So, nag-loop na lang ako ng JCS. Na
Yeah.
iba-ibang version.
Oh, God.
Iba-ibang version ng JCS.
Ah.
The movie soundtrack is good, but I have
There's
the
this particular
original...
version. Sorry.
Go ahead.
This particular version of Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth,
Jesus,
starring
Robert Powell.
Robert Powell and
Channel 9.
I remember gusto ko si the actress who played Mary there. Crush ko siya.
Olivia Hussey.
Si Mama Mary. Olivia Hussey. Yeah.
Olivia Hussey. She was
Right. Olivia Hussey.
Juliet in Romeo and Juliet. Same director, Franco Zeffirelli. Same director of Romeo and Juliet. He did
Yeah.
Jesus Nazareth. Yeah.
Galing.
And then what's nice about like listening to all the versions of JCS, you see how the music has evolved. Like in the first one, like with the double fold album, the gatefold album, even before the film came out, the actual release of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Man, it's so nice to listen to like something by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and he actually, considering that he's a composer, he actually loved to use the electric guitar. Because during Holy Week, I think Meds post ka Meds, 'di ba, about yung cover ng
Yeah.
JCS. I was listening
Yeah.
to Andrew Lloyd Webber, and then I went back to his soundtrack of Evita. This was the 1976 soundtrack of Evita. And I actually did Evita here with Repertory Philippines, and I don't remember having that much electric guitar in that score. And in the 1976 version, you're like, man, that's a lot of fucking electric guitar, pare. For a Broadway, you rarely come across that on Broadway soundtracks.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Ikaw, Alan, how you been doing?
Just like everybody, it was a challenging year for all of us. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Anyway, tapos at the same time, I also learned new skills. In fact, that's what I'm doing most of the time right now. I do websites because a lot of the businesses small businesses are actually in need of being present online. So far yun, and of course sa bahay lang with the family, taking care of the household needs, and everyone is my sons actually, they're all grown up, but they all have their online classes here, and my wife is a teacher, so she does her so at least assured ako na everyone is safe at home. So yun lang yung so iwas lang paglalabas.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like before this pandemic hit, we were okay lang with our internet service. And then when the pandemic hit, parang lahat tayo, pucha, kailangan ko mag-upgrade, pare. Kailangan ko mag-upgrade.
Ganun talaga ginawa namin.
That's what everybody pushed for. So that's fantastic that your wife's a teacher and that you're all and your kids are doing online schooling there at home.
Yes, kaya kanya-kanya kaming and of course we have to upgrade the speed for the for everyone to accommodate everyone, and at the same time yun yung entertainment namin lahat doon na nanggagaling ng to keep ourselves mentally healthy as well. So and also learning also work and entertainment, lahat na nakaasa sa internet. So
lahat nakasalang sa internet natin, no?
So hindi pwede mawala. So laking bagay.
And what about you, Meds? I know what you've been doing. I see you every Tuesday and every Saturday. So you're taking a writing class. But how have you been doing? How have you been doing during this pandemic?
Well, apart from the writing class, nag-aaral din ako ng nag-aaral ng keyboards and trying my best to grasp the concept of music production on the computer. Yung Ableton, nasa lesson 4 pa rin ako since last year. Tapos I'm also learning a couple languages with an app. Yeah, it's Duolingo. It's for free, but you can upgrade if you want to. Yun yung title ng app. I'm learning Japanese and Spanish. So yun. So, tsaka nag-aantay.
Bakit hindi ka nag-French kasama ni Eugene?
Meron sana kami siya na magtuturo sa akin. Mahirap yun eh. At saka naisip ko mas ma-utilize matang Spanish kasi 'di ba mas maraming Spanish speaking countries. So tsaka para since nasabi mo Evita kanina, one of these days I might migrate to Argentina na. So I think are they Spanish speaking? They are right.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Titira na ako sa
Patagonia.
Patagonia.
Doon ka magtatago.
Itago nyo.
Tago niya.
Tango, Patagonia. Bro, Jamie, that's a nice title for a screenplay. Tango in Patagonia. Pwede? Di ba?
Patagonian Tango. Say that fast 3 times.
Pwede. Patagonia.
Well, it's great that you guys have been keeping busy.
Sinubukan mo
Um,
naman. Ba't sabi niyo?
it's great that you guys have been keeping busy and you guys have been staying safe. That's always good news to hear. Now, what I want to find out from you guys, since we've been out of contact, even with the limited contact we've had in the past. I've stage managed some of the festivals and some of the concerts that you've been on, but I've never actually taken the time to get to know you guys because, when you're stage managing a festival, it's always like, sino completo, go, sino completo, go. As you may know from the 90s onwards, diba? So I want to find out what music did you guys grow up listening to, and who were your first musical influences individually? So, Meds, let's start with you.
Siyempre nung bata ka, that's when you first discovered the Beatles. And my father loved the Beatles. We had some tapes ng Beatles. But he was really more into Nat King Cole and Johnny Mathis. So we heard a lot of Nat King Cole and Johnny Mathis. Not so much of Sinatra. So until now, I'm still a fan of the Beatles. Of course, everyone still is. So, sino pa ba? And we listened to a lot of Bee Gees when we were young. So, sino pa ba? Shirley Bassey. There was a lot of Shirley Bassey in the house. Yeah, yun. I remember ko when we were young.
Eugene, do you concur?
Yes, pareho. I'll add one more. I don't know. When we used to spend. My dad was assigned in Hong Kong before, so we used to spend our summers there. Tapos doon sa kotse niya, iisa yung tape, Bonnie M. In
Bonnie
disco.
M.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So yun yung pinapakinggan namin palagi sa kotse.
That was the only tape you had in the car.
Bonnie M. Clyde.
Ako rin parang Bonnie M.
Meron din naman
Yeah,
Carpenters
as well,
din, di ba?
Yeah, but I remember because we stayed in the new territories and then we'd travel to Kowloon or Hong Kong side every weekend. So sa travel na yun, madalas yun lang ang pinapatugtog yung Bonnie M, yung By the Rivers of Babylon. Yung mga ganon. So yeah, tumatak sa utak namin yun. So yeah, we listened to a lot of stuff. I mean, from Nat King Cole, which is standards. We listened to Beatles, which was already rock and roll for us. And then you have Bee Gees, progressive pop, and then you have disco, Bonnie M, and then Carpenters na medyo folksy. So yeah, that was it for us.
So growing up in the same household, the both of you, how did you get into playing music?
Okay. Yung pinakakuya namin, I think when he was in college, the neighborhood kids, yung mga barkada niya, they figured they wanted to start a band. They were inspired by the Dawn. The Dawn was really huge. It was a huge inspiration for kids, for us back then. So they decided, let's buy some instruments, and then they put up a garage band. I mean, di ba, pang-istorba ng kapitbahay. Di ba? So they play here. And Med wasn't even the vocalist yet of their band. Eventually, So in our household, nagkaroon na ng instruments. And I have cousins who are older than us, who played music as well. Like they play the piano and they play the guitars. I even have a cousin who's from Malaysia. God bless him, si Manny Joseph. He used to play in shakies. He was supposed to go to college here in Manila, but then he instead of paying for tuition fee, he bought a guitar. And he put up a band and they started playing in shakies in Magallanes.
Shakies.
Wow.
So yeah, parang na-influensyahan nila kami.
And that's what led you to eventually picking up an instrument, singing, playing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What about you, Maki? What music did you grow up listening to?
Well, my older brothers, they were of course into the Beatles, so I heard that on their their cassettes, and then they were playing their vinyl collection of Beatles. So I'd always hear it around the house. And then my dad likes sunshine pop, mostly from the 60s, and then
Mm.
he turned me into Herb Alpert. His the Tijuana brass band. I really love that sound.
Yeah.
The trumpets,
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And then, but the very first song I can remember, playing air guitar too was the Human League. My
Mm.
brother was into the Human League that time. He was playing. He was blasting the sa house. I remember that afternoon. He was blasting their album, the one that had Lebanon,
Mm.
yung single. So, and when I heard the bass line to it, I just grabbed the tennis racket, jumped on the bed, and started, playing air
Tapos
bass
naging
to.
bahista ka na.
Oo nga eh.
Oh,
From the tennis racket, naging bahista ka na.
pero feeling ko,
but
feeling ko mas madali yung bass kasi apat lang yung strings. Yung tennis racket, mas maraming strings eh.
oo nga. Mesh pa, mesh. Anyway,
May
after
vertical,
that,
horizontal.
it was mostly 80s new wave. I was listening to Thompson Twins. Ano pa ba yung mga Ziza, mga bands like that from the UK, New Order, Joy Division. Yun yung mga gusto ko noon. Orange Juice. Yun, yung mga bands na yun. Tapos, later on, doon ko na yun yung mga earliest, mga musical influences.
What about you, Jake?
Ayan.
I grew up kasi with the family of musicians. My dad, my uncles, lahat. Kaya exposed ako sa jazz, exposed ako sa standards, exposed ako. And of course, my personal likes ako yung mga Noel Pointers, mga Kenny Rankin, George Duke, doon na nagsimula. Tapos nag-new wave, siyempre may konting Billy Idol, mga pang-idol.
I think Billy Idol was the
Dami,
first.
no?
I think Billy Idol, when he was in Generation X, I think that was the first time I played air guitar to an entire album. And I would imagine, diba? So so basically from a family of musicians, Jake, you picked up an instrument. What led you to the keyboards?
Actually, lahat mga pinsan ko kasi nagpa-piano sila. They play the Barry Manilow songs, then they can sing while playing. Parang na-inspire
ikaw lang.
Uy. Parang
Idol.
Hindi, actually, natatanga lang ako yung mga mag Barry Manilow songs sila. I'll try it din siguro. Then kinuna na ako ng dad ko ng piano teacher. Hinahandaan ko ng cake at saka juice kasi manunod akong bonus time.
It must be fantastic it must be fantastic to grow up in a family of musicians. I mean, I was raised in a family full of actors, so that's eventually where I went. No, it's funny that because I'm the youngest and I have three older sisters, and my three older sisters, you know how it was growing up. When lahat kayo magpiano lessons. So my eldest sister, the second eldest, si Monique came, and then the third one, si Gina came, and hindi nila tinuloy. And finally, when I arrived, my parents were like, lalaki yan eh. Hindi yan magpapiano.
Yeah.
And how ironic, ako pa yung lumanding sa banda. They didn't bother giving me piano lessons because they thought I was going to be an athlete. Ha ha ha. That did not happen. But wow, I mean, listening to jazz, and Noah Pointer and all those guys, what an atmosphere that was growing up, and what a big difference from the collective mention of the Beatles, basically, from the rest of these guys. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Actually, I grew up in a household. There's a lot of music, especially my dad is really listening to a lot of Beatles. Pero yun nga, very common yun among kasi I think yung parents namin are almost at the same age also. But pero what that really got, kumbaga, I got the music bug is actually there are 4 bands that really changed my actually perception and also yun na yung led me to this career is there's Depeche Mode, The Cure, U2, and The Smiths. Those four bands are my main influences, and also that led me to actually una gusto ko maging synth player because gusto ko talaga yung Depeche Mode, but mahal eh. So the next instrument that was available at our house was the guitar. So I picked that up, and actually I really enjoyed playing, and I really wanted to learn and become better in playing the guitar. And yun na nga, pumasok na si Robert Smith, The Edge, and Johnny Marr. So yun, those are the four main bands. Lagi yun in a lot of interviews, and also if I also try to evaluate or try to analyze my playing, yun yung four artists that really what do you say, formed my musical identity. So, and that led to this career.
I think
So,
it's
yun.
funny you mentioned when you mentioned two bands that I particularly love, The Cure and U2.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of them, but it's funny because like with The Cure, I fell in love with them instantly back in the day, to the point where trench
Yeah.
coat, eyeliner, big hair, Aquanet and all that.
Yeah.
But you actually did not like U2 when I first encountered them. I remember my cousins had Unforgettable Fire and Boy, and I was like, nah, okay lang. And then I fell in love. I really, really fell in love with them. Rattle and Hum na.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Oh,
then,
well,
yeah, so
yeah.
much.
After
This
Joshua Tree.
happens. Yeah, this happens to me quite often. Like I feel like when you discover a band, and you fall in love with them right away, or the time you fall in love with the band, parang I feel like it's the time in your life where you're ready to accept them. When I started listening to The
Mm.
Cure, I had gone from listening from the Dead Kennedys and all these
Punk.
like punk, thrash, and
Okay.
heavier stuff, and then somehow I transitioned
Mm.
to The Cure. So you too for me was like, who are these fucking pop guys? What the fuck? I was like that. I was resistant until Rattle and Hum. I had Joshua Tree, and I was just like, okay, but only when Rattle and Hum. I remember Rattle and Hum came to me, and it didn't even come in the form of the album. It came to me in the form of the VHS tape of the movie.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
before that, I had not seen any videos of U2. So when I saw their live performances, dun ako na in love. And then I backtracked
Mm.
from there.
Mm.
And it's like a love-hate relationship with some. I mean, that happened to me also in like with the Rolling Stones. I did not like the Roll. I was always a Doors fan. I did not like the Rolling
Yeah.
Stones until they released Voodoo Lounge, which was their comeback album na.
Oo
Mm.
na, medyo bago.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, yeah,
Then I went back in time and discovered, oh, mahusay pala sila.
Yeah.
Mm.
It seems like you have to be
Galing
in the
pala.
time. Di ba? There's a time in your life where you're open to certain music, and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a life where you're resistant. And there are even times like if we go back to U2, when they released No Line on the Horizon,
Mm.
I
Yeah, yung
Mm.
diba?
yeah,
I hated it. I was like, these
exactly.
guys have lost it. What the fuck is going on? I don't understand you. You betrayed me, and all that. And I remember listening to it in the car on the way to work. It was the only CD. I said I'm going to give them another chance, and I listened to
Yeah.
them for about 6 months on the way. Like 2, 3 songs lang to go to work, then another 2, 3 songs to go back. And then the one day it hit me na parang, oh my God, these guys are brilliant. I just wasn't ready for it, you know? And I think that comes in the discovery of your music. Like, you guys who have grown up with the Beatles, I didn't
Yeah.
discover the Beatles until like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Whoa.
Because
Wow.
I mean, it's the same thing. You know about the Beatles. You know them. You know their
Yeah.
songs. But it didn't really, their music really didn't hit me
Right,
like
right.
not until 3 years ago because I was always a Doors fan and they became a Rolling Stones fan. So I liked the weird boys of rock and roll from that era, the bad boys of rock and roll. And then for me, the Beatles were like, oh, okay, I like Lucy in the Sky. I like Sergeant Pepper's, but that was it. And then I got deep into them. So I guess it's when music
Mm.
really hits you and when you're ready, which leads me
Yeah.
to, because I've been listening to your music for the past, I think 3 or 4 days on loop on Spotify.
Mm.
It's funny because when I listened to the earlier albums, the from 1993, those albums, it brought me back to a time where I was a completely different person. So I said,
Mhm.
okay, para
Mm.
I'm still this person, this Jamie was resistant to rediscovering your music. So I jumped ahead, and it's one of the things I
Mm.
want to talk to you about. Is your latest single from December last year when you
Yeah.
released your new single, "You Already Smile." And I think, and that
Mm.
now has made it into my permanent playlist because I just love it because it talks to the Jamie of now. How did that song come about,
Ah,
guys?
yes.
Because you released this was a pandemic recording, right?
Yeah.
You did
Oh
this
no,
Yes.
during the pandemic.
some of it.
And
The
This
video.
was recorded years before. This was already
Ah,
recorded years before, but it was tweaked last year lang to include in the forthcoming
during the
album.
pandemic.
So and we did the video last year. We released it during the pandemic and the video as well. So yeah, but it was recorded a few years ago. It was supposed to come
all
up.
right.
I was supposed to be a part of the previous album with Star Music, pero sabi namin siguro sa next album na lang.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was supposed to be part of Sentimental.
Yeah, it's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Yes, it was
This
supposed to be part of that. Yeah, but
was
we
it in a
opted
different, but
to.
was it in a different like musicality when it was for Sentimental than what you've
I
just
know.
released?
No,
Um,
it's the same already.
The
It's like
same.
the
That na.
same form already.
Actually, that's Jamie. That's funny that you mentioned that because that's precisely one of the reasons why we decided to not include it in sentimental yet that time,
Album na.
because we were listening to the songs that came up with and then reviewing them, and then we kind of like felt that um, "You Already Smile" had a sort of like a different vibe to it. And then
Yeah,
remember we talked about it and we decided that to maybe it's best that we include it in the next
Postpone it.
album. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because that's what I was
that's
thinking. I
right.
mean, if it was written and was supposed to be released in Sentimental, aside from the remix of Rain, I think
Yeah.
sonically, not
Mm.
that would be like, huh? Where'd that come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just so glad that you guys decided to release the single. It's going to be part of the new album. Yay, we have a new album.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
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 I think it's great because it stands alone and sort of serves as a, parang you're shifting gears. It feels like you're
Yes.
shifting gears into another artistic, you know what I mean, direction in that sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Uh, Tingin ko,
but
I think
it's like
so.
full circle.
Gene.
Full circle. Yeah, full circle. Kasi when Truefaith started, yung sila pa lang, Med, Kiko, and Ferdy, they were electronic. Electronic sila. No, there was no other
Uh,
member of the band. When
Programming.
they programming lang talaga,
Puro
everything. And
programming,
they,
no
Programming.
drums,
no drums, just the three of them.
no live drums, no
So
live
dalawang
drums.
keyboards lang. Yeah. So that was the first that was their plan, But then during live shows, parang bitin yung sound
mm,
because technology wasn't that advanced yet. So para ang nipis-nipis when you just use the old yung mga MC na mga what do you call this yung mga what do you call this?
Sequencers.
Yung MC sequencers. There you go. Thank you, Jake.
yeah,
Yeah, the old
sequence.
sequencers, and then sometimes they would crash, diba? During the live performances.
Yeah.
So that's why they decided
Mumurahin
to
pa eh.
recruit other members of the band. mahal kaya, mahal kaya yung
Mahal,
mga.
mahal, good.
Mahal
Hard
ba
to
yun?
get pa yun dati,
Oo.
sequencers.
MC500. Yeah.
So anyway, yun na nga. So
Sequencer.
that's how Truefaith started out. That's na ngayon with the new sound. It's like pinasok ulit. Well, we've come full circle lang. Kasi pinasok ulit, bumalik sa electronic roots yung Truefaith. Of course, not without sacrificing yung folk side of Truefaith.
Well, that's what I loved about Your Ready Smile. It's got all the things I like in a track. It's got a great groove. It's got great vocals, soaring vocals, and it's got a killer electric guitar track. And
Yeah, yeah.
and
Ooh.
yeah, yeah,
Ala.
I'm a
Killer
big
yan.
big fan of guitars on dance tracks, and really
Yeah.
this
Mm.
track made me feel, it was happy and sad. When I mean, I've been listening to it on loop,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
It's happy and sad for me because my god, I want to go out dancing, but I can't go out.
Good.
It's
Bawal.
different when you're dancing at home,
Mm.
and it's different when you're in a club and the lights are flashing and you're just lost in
Yeah.
that moment. It's easier to lose yourself, but
Uh-huh.
your ready smile has helped me lose myself from this holy week where people were locked down and slightly depressed and freaking out. Your ready smile got me through it because I would just close my eyes and pretend I was in a club,
Mm.
listening to this track. And I think it was the most
Mm.
fantastic thing because not knowing that you had electronic background, it's nice to know that technology has finally caught up with your
Yeah.
artistry.
Exactly.
You can use it again.
Mm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, how did that song come about? When you wrote it and decided not to put it in sentimental, how did that song come about? Because like you said, it's a different direction. Eh. Hindi siya bagay for this album. How did it come about?
Paano nga ba?
Yung songwriting process namin, usually I come up with the melody and the lyrics. There's already a structure, like the verses, the chorus there. Bale, ganun muna. Nagawa ko na yung song sa utak ko, the lyrics and the melody, and then I go to them. We get together and we jam it, sa condo ni Alan, nandun, may computer and all, tapos dala nila instruments nila. And then, the guys flesh it out, kumbaga, from what I have in my head. So, yeah, and the song was really meant to be, a bit hopeful. So if Jamie, the song made you feel that way, then, we've done our job,
But
Effective pala.
there's
Effective.
nothing like a vocal saying, "I'll walk the earth for you. I'll take a late night bus for you," dude. That's like, yeah,
Yeah.
man, I will. I will. I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
Except now I need a
Yes.
quarantine pass.
Yeah.
Totoo.
And the
Or
negative
yung
test
lugaw.
result.
we can
And the negative test result.
we can just
And
go
the
around the
negative test
bubble.
result. Yeah, but my
Exactly.
my bubble is small. I need a bigger bubble, pare. Okay, so since you brought it up, let's talk about sentimental. Your specifically what really stood out because it painted such a visual image in my mind was Jariot Kape.
Mm.
Oh.
That
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
you
Maganda
close
yun.
your eyes and you're there at that moment. Eh. You're there. The whole sentiment of, well, I don't know if people read newspapers nowadays, but as much as I can, I still do. Right, instead of being on my phone, because there's something about holding the pages and smelling the newspaper and the
Yeah.
ink. So Jariot Kape brought
Famous
me to a
books.
certain, diba? Can you tell me how that song was written? This was in for those of you listening, this was in their 2018 album or the release of Sentimental. So how did that song come about?
Si Medulit.
Uli. Parang ganun din. That's all. Well, I concocted up a story in my head and then wrote the words. Paano nga ba yung song? Hindi ko paano ba yung lyrics to?
Yeah, that was
I
an
just
Jariot
remember
Kape sa umaga.
Extra siya.
special.
Siya,
Yes.
yun.
Yeah.
Special.
So, bale, I wanted to write a ballad that had these scenarios, ano ba yung mga scenarios doon? Nasa gimmick
This
ka,
was
Ayan, si Eugene is raising his hand. Eugene wants to take over. Go,
This was
Eugene.
if I remember right, this was an old demo, di ba, Jake? This was an old demo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tama,
Oh,
tama.
This is
It's
an old demo.
one.
So when we were working on Sentimental, we were thinking, hey, we have old songs that weren't included in previous albums that we might
Ano
want to
yun eh,
revisit.
Love Parade pa. Lagi.
Before Love
Yeah,
Parade
yeah,
pa,
yeah.
di ba?
Oh,
It was one of those
sobrang din ng mga
rejected.
nun.
I
Oh,
think if I'm not mistaken, it was one of
no,
those
no.
rejected singles.
It's after, after Love Parade.
Yeah,
Kumbaga,
it
we
was, yeah.
were trying to shop the songs to, but it wasn't,
It was
kumbaga, at that
rejected.
time. Yeah.
So yeah, we
Pero,
revisited it. So let's do Giant Cafe. I mean, it's a nice song. So we listened to the demo again, and then oh yeah, let's do this. So we recorded it again, but this time in the studio, a proper studio.
uh,
So
and I remember, originally, it was only piano and voice. That's
yes,
the
demo.
idea for the song, but what we decided to do for Sentimental was to bring in the full band, and
Put
make it
some
sound more like
orchestrations.
a more like a it's like a theme song for a teleserye
Soap
or a
opera.
movie. Yeah. So that's the that's what made that
Teleserye paint.
arrangement.
Yeah. And this song actually proves that the value of being green, recycling.
Oo nga, no?
Never throw out your old ideas, your trash.
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, old ideas I will bring it back to discovering music. Sometimes the
Yeah.
song is not meant to be yet,
That's right.
and then you go into it and
Exactly.
you say, "Hey, maybe this will work now with the rest of the guys,"
Exactly.
Yeah.
and it takes off and it becomes a
Tama.
beautiful song that the world is ready for.
Oo.
Yeah.
You know,
I actually have
Yeah,
fun. I
I-
had fun
I think
recording
it's-
that song.
Maki.
I,
right?
I I really had fun recording that song, and I
Maki.
enjoy listening to it on playback on my CD. I love that song. I love that song.
What's a CD?
It's ironic that I've got so many CDs. I can't get
You
rid
have
of
the
my
bass
CDs.
line, right?
I have so many CDs, but I don't have a working CD player. It's so ironic, you know. So, Meds, you wanted to say something about
Meron sa
Jared
SNR
Capel?
mula. Yeah. No, I wanted to add to that what you were saying. Like you've already mentioned it a couple of times. Like in rediscovering things, like with music. I feel the same with books. Like I came across the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance years ago.
Mhm.
Pero right in the middle of it, parang I stopped. And then parang a couple years ago, I said, hindi ko pa pala nababasa to ng buo, no? And I read it again, and then I reread it again from the start, and I finished it like in a couple of months lang. Although it's a thick book. Kasi nung time yon naramdaman ko na the book was ready for me, you know. Parang ano din, parang the doors of perception din, right? So
Yes.
ilang beses ko nang nadadaanan yon, and then recently ko lang din nabasa ulit. Parang ganun din siguro what you mean, no? With songs like with artists like what you mentioned with you to na parang when you were younger parang hindi ka pa ready, and then later on in your life na-discover na, oy, okay pala, nakaka-relate pala ako. I think it's the same also with our songs din, no? Meron kami mga songs na sinulat na parang feeling namin hindi pa ready for this album or for this time, right? So, later on, may isip na lang namin, pwede dagdag to, pwede itong isama sa ano. So, that's what happened with Jagat Kape. Same thing will happen to Your Ready Smile. Parang naghahanap.
And there's another song. There's another song pa na ni-revive natin from an old demo. Paano Ka Magiging Akin, which is the first single for
Sentimental.
Yeah.
Tama.
That's on my list of standout songs because that's such a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful song.
Thank you.
And when was that written? I mean, like, are we talking years? Like years since you've written this, and then all of a sudden you discover it?
Ganon,
So
yeah. I think after Love Parade yun eh. So 2010 yung Love Parade, tapos we wrote those songs the year after that or 2 years after that. Tapos nandun lang siya. Tapos 2018 na lumabas. Actually, no. 2015 naman because
So,
we released it as a single first before it became part of the
The
album.
album. Yeah.
So hindi naman ganun ka balisaw-saw before ano.
Balisaw-saw.
hindi
What a
ganun
word.
kaluma. Pero
And then
nilagyan naman ng konting modern touch.
Word of the day. Word of
I
the day.
guess
Balisaw-saw.
Balisaw-saw.
I guess it's also
Meron
some
ka ba?
things like when you discover songs that you recorded a demo for, like you were saying, it was just a piano and vocals, and then the band will flesh it out. I guess that adds that updates it, that moves the song forward to
Yeah.
being ready for it to be released. But how do you guys decide? Like, for example, when you were talking about sentimental and what song should be in the album, and you decided Your Ready Smile was not ready to be part of the sentimental album. How did you guys decide? Is it a unanimous vote? Is it a Jack and Boy thing? Is it is it
Toskoy.
bahala ka dyan? How do
Oh
you
well,
guys
Mm.
decide?
from what I remember, from what I
Balak.
recall, I think we were, I think we were,
Unanimous.
was it Alan's place, condo, decide trying to review what we had so far, and then I remember si Med just said na maybe it's best that we put it off muna, and then everyone agreed naman, kasi it was the song actually stood out if you look at the current that time
Parang
that list. So
reserva
like ano
muna.
siya eh, it jumps out eh. So I guess
Mm.
when Med mentioned let's suggested that let's put it off for muna, it was a unanimous thing naman. Wala namang
Not,
violent objection.
not so ready smile pa. Not so
Oh.
ready.
witty ka.
Yung title noon, not so
Clever.
ready smile.
Ay, nako, Jake.
Clever. Clever.
I would
Tama
want to do a quick.
iniinom na yung...
Okay, mga
I want to do.
okay, mga clapbacks ni Jake.
Oh my. I want to do a couple of quick shout outs here. We've got Rick Olivares in the house, Mia Concepcion, Bing Austria,
Hey.
all
Hey, Bing.
hello.
Oh, big.
We've got Egay Rosal says si Medwin kamukha ni Secretary Mark Villar. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Build.
DPWH ba yun?
And then we have
Sana kasing
Oh.
yaman na lang.
Oh,
Kasing yaman na lang.
so wait, so basically Meds okay lang sa'yo. Wow, you look as rich as Mark Villar. That's even weirder. And then there's
Yes.
As rich.
there's this lady here who's making me laglag. Hey, let's not make me laglag, okay? Let's make laglag the band, Do you remember
Yeah.
playing
Very true.
Zorro in
Zorro.
Shangri-La Makati back in the 90s? Yes, and I'd like to block that out of my memory. Thank you for bringing that up. I know. No, it was very strange because I was contracted to play Zorro for a ballroom dancing event that happened every week, in the hopes that I would be dancing. Zorro would be dancing with the ladies. And only after they hired me did they realize that Jamie Wilson doesn't know how to ballroom dance. So Zorro, in these events, Zorro stayed at the bar talking to the ladies and not dancing with them.
No.
Which wasn't bad. It's actually quite
not a bad
fun.
gig.
Yeah.
Not a bad gig at all. I did that
Not a
for like
bad
3
gig.
months until they realized Jamie's not dancing. I'm like, yeah, I don't dance.
You did get to channel your inner Antonio Banderas.
Hola, hola.
Oh,
chica. That's when Spanish. If I had learned Spanish, that would have been so.
Exactly.
Meds, when you learn Spanish and you move
Buena.
to Argentina, you have to dress like Zorro. Okay.
Don't let.
Nakamask. Inain ka ngayon, nakamask.
Buenas
Si
noches,
Antonio
señorita.
Banderas was in the Evita movie.
That's true.
Di ba? Si
That's
Antonio
true.
Banderas was in the Evita movie. The one
Yeah, he
with Madonna.
Madonna.
he played Che Guevara, and that ladies and gentlemen, if you're
Che
if, you,
Guevara,
if you're
yeah.
if you're an Andrew Lloyd Webber fan, that movie of Madonna was when Madonna actually properly learned how to sing,
Sing.
and that's why I think her vocals, her album after that, which was Ray of Light, were fantastic
Yeah.
because pare, all The world's best vocal teachers came to teach you how to sing Andrew Lloyd Webber. Kayang-kaya mo yung Ray of Light, di ba?
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
yeah. And we have digressed back to musical theater, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Now, that's the thing. With Truefaith's music, this is another thing that I've always been curious about. Because, I mean, we've had the Eraserheads musical come out. We've had the Apple musical come out. And apparently you guys, since all you guys were singing JCS, obviously you're fans of musical theater. I think we should have a Truefaith musical come out.
Yeah,
Oh,
dami
man.
ng
Well, si
R18.
Alan, nagsusulat siya ng mga songs. Si Alan nagsusulat siya for mga songs sa theater sa Ateneo, 'di ba, Alan?
yeah, mga stage musicals ng mga theater orgs sa Ateneo. Children's, even the college, entablado, and So, pero, syempre, kung may magsusulat man for ang Truefaith musical, syempre hindi magagaling sa amin, if ever. Baka if someone thinks of to put together all the songs na nasulat ni Med from the very start. Kasi actually, very rich yung mga kwento nung
Catalog.
magandang
Yes.
gawan ng anong tawag diyan ng basically ng story.
So I think, Med, since we're
Yung mga
taking the
songs
writing
na
class,
nasulat.
since we're taking the writing class of Rick
Yeah.
Olivares, this should be a pet project of ours to write a story and put in the True
Why
Faith
not?
songs and create a musical. And then you guys will have to be
Oh.
the audition committee. Pwede ba to?
Yeah.
Dito pwede.
Yes. No. Yes. No.
History of the world. History of the world.
World.
Yes!
No. Yes.
So baka yan yung selection process
Sila.
niyo for songs, ha? No, yes, no, yes, no, yes. For the new album.
Mel Brooks, yeah.
Mel Brooks rocks, man. And that particular
Mel
video,
Brooks.
do you know for years,
Oh.
because it was cool when it was released, I mean, we're all familiar with History of the World, Part 1. Do you know
Yeah.
how long I searched for Part 2 before I realized it did not exist?
There isn't one.
Wala.
Because back in the day, you get them in Betamax tapes pa yun, di ba? Betamax
yeah.
tapes,
Yes.
History of the World Part 1. Akala ko, hindi ko na rent yung Part 2. So, bumabalik ako every week. Part
Saan?
2.
Sa video bug sa BF, sa BF.
Sa Sonics kami sa Makati. Saka
Yeah.
sa audiophile
sa
sa
Makati.
Paco. So
Audiophile.
audiophile used to rent like Betamaxes. And I'd be like, where's Part 2, pare? Where's Part 2? And they didn't know either. They were like, sir, wala pa eh.
Wala.
Viking funeral.
Viking. Hitler
Jews in
in
space.
space. Jews in space
Hitler on
pala.
ice.
Hitler on ice.
Hitler on ice.
Hitler on ice.
That's what I wanted to
Jews in
see.
space.
That's what I wanted to see. All right, we're off track. I'm gonna have to wrestle us back in. Okay, so guys, for your sentimental album, you had a remix by the one and only Brian Kua. Brian is amazing. I've worked with him in hit productions.
Yeah.
Even before he had thoughts of becoming a DJ, he was a great arranger and a great composer. How did the Rain remix happen?
Sino ba?
Bali si Brian, constant collaborator siya talaga from way back pa. With the Bliss album nung 1998, siya yung co-producer ng album at saka he helped us with the arrangements. So, and I've known Brian since college sa Lasal. Nakilala ko na siya before. He was in a different band and then we were in this band contest. Buti na lang for some reason na-disqualify yung banda nila. Buti na lang kasi matatalo kami mawawala kami sa third place kung sila pa yung nakapasok sa top 3. So kasi mahusay sila. Anyway, si Brian, nakakausap ko na siya before and I remember nung college pa lang, napaka niyan, virtuoso na yan, galing niyan. I remember na talagang very talented siya talaga. Tapos tatandaan ko, I remember college, sinasabi niya na ang ganda-ganda ng Rhythm Nation album ni Janet Jackson, which is true. I just listened to it again, yung Rhythm Nation ni Janet Jackson. It's parang feeling ko yung album niya parang yun yung para what's going on in Marvin Gaye nung 80s pop. So, yun. So, and from there, naging friends na talaga kami. So, it was natural na in the future with Truefaith na makakatrabaho namin siya. And we asked him to do a remix kasi parang yung The Rain, parang sabi ko, parang bagay siya gawa ng dance beat. Parang naisip ko yung parang song ni Lana Del Rey na Summertime Blues ba yun? So sabi ko, pwedeng lagyan ng beat to . So we asked Brian and said, yeah, madaling kausap niya si Brian. So mabait mo.
So in terms of remixes, okay, so this is just like going into a what if kind of thing, right? You released in 2014 your acoustic album, the Eto Hits acoustic, right?
Yeah.
2000,
you had
2004.
2004 ba yun? Yung
Was it?
acoustic?
Eto Hits?
2000.
Yeah.
Ito hits.
Okay, so 2004. Okay, so you had acoustic renditions of your hits, right? Now, what would be interesting for me since you had the remix of Rain and going into Your Ready Smile, I think it would be interesting to listen to your hits remixed into a dance album. Like Perfect, when you sorry, I have discussed this song. You know, I mean, my story of the song Perfect is because I didn't like it when it first came out because all the girls I was hitting on, and I was into Led Zepp at the time. I was into like and all that, and I would play these songs to these girls, and the girls never respond. They looked at me like I was weird until I played Perfect, and then I got to second base. You know what I mean? After playing Perfect for them, and I'm like, wow, what the hell? But Perfect, if you listen to the original version of Perfect, and I also love the acoustic version of Perfect, but this would actually be a really good club remix song to take off from in a sense because it's already there. It's not wala lang yung club edge that is in your Ready Smile. But a remix album would be fantastic. So we have to page Brian, you know. I think this would be another fantastic to listen to your songs reimagined, I guess. In that sense. So going the polar opposite of the acoustic album, going into a remix club version of it. And this time the technology is actually present that you can actually easily do this. And when live events or gigs start happening again, this is doable live na rin. Diba?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud here, but I would love that kind of album right there. Another album I'd love to talk about is the Love Parade because this album, if you know, listening from your early albums onto this was a standout album for me because it was like, wow, these guys are, you know, it's the opening song pa lang, yun lang, is so hard hitting. But it's something that is very rarely heard in your songs. So let's talk about Yun Lang. That's with Army. Yeah. How did that song come about, guys? When you did that?
Ganun ulit.
So we have Medwin writing the
process.
first chorus and then sending it to the rest of the band. You know?
Yeah.
So yung songs like paano ba? Parang si Patrick Swayze goes si Patrick Swayze and then I did the Whoopi Goldberg and sila yon. So parang para marinig ng mga tao yung help paano nga ba paano ba nasulat yun? And
Actually,
originally ang naisip ko na na style ng song parang yung ano, which one? Parang this old Genesis song. I don't remember which title it was. What the title is, but it's an old Genesis song. I wanted it to be that way, or something like "Close to Me" by The Cure. Tapos yung arrangements ni Alan, tsaka yung dati naming bass player si Bimbo and si dati ng drummer si Benedict, parang they did it differently, but it turned out really well. And sabi ko parang
Mas naging
maganda
heavy
lagyan
rock.
ng female voice. Yeah, naging heavy siya. Medyo may pagka new wave. And I thought na maganda lagyan ng boses to na babae. And during that time talagang talagang mainit na sa indie scene yung UDD, Up Dharma Down. And from day one, I was already a fan of theirs. So sabi ko, take a chance since friend naman namin si Toti. Tinanong namin si kung pwede si Army. Pumayag naman si Army, pumayag din si Toti. So yeah, so sobra kami na to. And then we did the video with Quark Henares.
Quark.
And then after that collaboration, hindi na ma-reach sila Army kasi sobrang sikat na UDD.
Sumikat sila din.
Cool pa rin. Cool pa rin. Hindi sila sumikat dahil sa collaboration natin. Hindi sila. Pero cool yun si
Naughty Jake.
Pero cool yun sila Army si Toti kasi when we celebrated yung 25th anniversary 3 years ago,
naglolo ko internet ko.
Nag-guest si Army dun sa isang sa yun lang sa Music Museum via video.
I think this album has a lot of collections of songs, from like the really fun songs like Hooray and Parada. Hooray also has made it into my permanent playlist because, man, when I'm feeling down, that's like, yeah, baby, here we go. Yes, Eugene. Eugene's raising his hand. You're so polite. Eugene is so polite. Oh? You wrote this. Fantastic. There you go.
So I've been watching my nephew doing his online class. He's like 8 years old. So he does that every time he wants to speak.
You're such a polite guy. Like,
Tama naman.
I'm gonna raise my hand.
Tama.
But Hooray is fantastic, and Parada is also fantastic. There's this great bouncy fun. Again, I feel like I'm in a happy mosh pit, which is fantastic. That's the feeling that you want to get. Lihim is another beautiful song. Tonight.
Yeah.
Very new wave.
Always, with it's very new wave, but the urgency of the writing, it's in the urgency of the possibilities of the idea of what can happen tonight. And I love the urgency of the possibility of tonight's the night. That's another fantastic song. And then you close it with Run. Run for me is like, wow, that's I don't know how you guys arrange the songs in your albums, but to close with Run, it's that's like, wow. It's such an amazing song, the heartbroken yet hopeful vocals. Meds, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you sing like you sing. And it's the emotion is so there because if you look at it at face value, it's a great technical exercise in singing, all right, but the emotion takes it to another place. Like I said, how can anybody sing heartbroken and hopeful at the same fucking time? It blows my mind. Right? I mean, like it's tough to do.
Hell effing yeah.
Right? It's hard to do.
Hell effing yeah.
You tell me, you're the one in theater.
I don't know. I mean, it's a different thing when you're singing in theater. You're following a story, you playing a character. The people around you are feeding you what you need for that emotion, and you're whatever. When the song comes in, part of the story, you have all that. You have an entire world helping you achieve that emotion. But I mean, that's, I guess, when you see artists who are really good live and artists who are really good in the recording studio. And I must say that you guys are great in both. It's harder in the recording studio because you're alone in a room, Meds. You're alone in a room with a microphone.
Mm.
There's nothing helping you except
Mm.
what you have inside. So as a singer, to
Yeah.
to fulfill not only the technicality of hitting those fucking notes, but to give the emotion of being both heartbroken and hopeful at the same time. How do you prepare yourself for that when you're in the studio?
Mm.
Drink?
Um,
Eu- Eugene is raising his hand, but in a different way. He's like, yeah. But do you have to go to a certain
mas
place
madali
in your
sa
mind?
akin. Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Kung ano yung sinasuggest ng lyrics, I try to go there in that place. When I write lyrics kasi, I get lost talaga. I'm thinking of scenarios. I'm thinking of myself as a different person, or if it's autobiographical, I think of that time when I felt it and I'm still feeling it. And I try to duplicate it again when I'm in the recording studio. It's a lot easier to be in the recording studio to feel to remember those feelings and those thoughts. Because I'm in a dark room, a slightly lit room. I'm all alone, and that helps. As opposed to being on stage, this is the reason why I can't do theater, because I'm so conscious about people. I mentioned nga I mentioned nga dun sa class natin ni Rick, dun sa class natin ni Rick, dun sa letter to a 19-year-old. So I'm probably agoraphobic. I'm scared of people, and then it was really tough, being in a band, kasi like yung papunta pa lang nga sa venue, kinakabahan ako to meet people. So, and then lalo pa on stage. But somehow I've learned to manage it. Nakakatulong din gano'n. So, but yeah, sometimes over yung gano'n, over. Anyway, yeah, sa recording studio, I can really summon it all up, conjure the images back again, remember scenarios, remember the feeling, try to replicate the feeling again.
Okay, so why is Eugene pointing to Maki and
No,
Maki is pointing to
Maki-
Alan?
Maki was raising his hand. Maki was raising his hand. I remember that game show. You remember that game show with Whoopi Goldberg as the host? They're all in boxes. I forgot the title of that.
No, I guess just when it's just ironic
Okay, there
that
you go, Maki.
Ned mentioned that he gets the jitters every time we're supposed to go on stage, which is ironic because he's the front man of the band. But yeah, he said that a little helps sometimes to go over, and that makes for a very interesting gig.
Yes.
If ever we get to finish it.
Totoo.
Okay, what was the worst gig you guys ever played?
It's a different story every time.
Our
What
worst gig, yeah.
What's the worst gig you've played?
I remember this. We were playing in a beach somewhere in Antique, and then prior to that, when we had the dinner, with the mayor had his bodyguards with M16s and his goons all around us, and then when we went to the gig, we were kind of like wasted already. So the mayor was left asking, "Why are they drunk?" That must have been one of the low points.
Is that Truefaith? Are you sure that's Truefaith?
That's Truefaith.
Okay, so have you gotten so drunk that you were not able to play? Or barely able to
A
play?
lot.
Marami times. Marami
There,
times.
Eugene's raising his hand again, but then like less confident because he probably has some stories to tell.
No, okay, go Alan. Alan first.
Ano lang,
Alan.
singit ko lang. Sa akin, one of the scariest gigs na, actually, hindi naman siya worst, pero scariest gigs na nangyari sa amin. This was in Canada pa. It was our first show in Canada for that particular tour. Just a few minutes before we go on stage, natuyo yung lalamunan ni Med because we were,
Yeah.
ano yung winter time yon, tapos
Yeah.
di
Bigla na
natin
lang nawala.
be aware na yung wine could dry up your throat.
Dry up my throat.
Yeah.
So
Cabernet.
a few minutes before our set, na ano yung boses ni Med. So
Zero voice talaga.
yun ang
Wow.
but we had to
Zero
do the
voice.
show because we sold
Zero
the show.
sound.
It was a sold out show and we had to proceed.
Sold out.
Somehow we that was opening show
Oh,
for tour.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but naman nairaos.
Pero nag-enjoy pa rin naman tao.
Yeah,
Oo.
nag-enjoy pa rin. So pero yun sa akin, one of the scariest gig for me was that one. So
Yung biglang
There's a comment here from Adrian Arcega saying
Adrian.
that Meds got the jitters when I initially banned alcohol from their 25th anniversary. Adrian, naman, why would you do that, man?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why, Ayara?
That's just mean. You know?
Dun sa
Sure.
anniversary show, pumayag naman si Manager Andy at si Adrian. Siguro mga isa't kalahating sa tequila. Tapos si Eugene, I don't know, parang nakailan na to. Kasi talaga nakakaba. So, that was I mean, if that was the worst time. It could be the worst time to ban alcohol. You know, kasi sobrang kabado kami. So,
Yeah, it's a 25th anniversary concert. I would imagine that alcohol would be overflowing.
Yeah.
Not banned, right?
But we had to play like 20
afterwards
plus.
naman
We had to play like 20 plus songs. So baka pag hindi binan yung alcohol early on the earlier part, baka hanggang 10 songs lang kami.
10 songs.
So dapat mahusay yung stage manager mo na nagmo-monitor ng alcohol intake,
Yeah.
bawat
And they
kanta.
Actually. Totoo.
Tapos
They manage
pag halfway point na, okay na, sige, go.
They managed it pretty well. Si Manager Andy, si Direk Adrian, and sino stage manager natin si Valin. Si Valin, yeah. She managed us very well. Although nakakatakas ako because dikit kami ng mga PA.
Oh, yan. Yan ang sabi ni Adrian. Exactly, Eugene. Andy warned me. Sumagot. No, but it's true, I mean, like, every gig, like, I play with a band as well. It's funny because when I perform in theater, the culture, the theater culture here in the Philippines, at least, is that you don't drink before you go on stage. While as I've worked with some British companies and American companies, and they're okay if you have a drink even during rehearsals, even during the show, And then when I play with my band, I need a beer, at least a beer before I get up on stage, because it helps with your stage fright. But one thing funny is that when talking about how Medwin gets the jitters, you never see it on stage. It never. And I guess that's where I guess when you're on because you have no choice but to be on.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how it must have felt like. I've had a gig like that where seconds before I got on stage, I only realized I didn't have a voice when I started singing, and I'm like, where is it? Oh my God, where is it? And I had to do 3 sets that night. I was freaking out because how do you get through it? But somehow, like Med said, nakakatawid eh. Somehow you find a way to get through it. What would be, in your opinion, the best gig you guys have ever played together? When
Anniversary,
even with Adrian,
the anniversary show.
The anniversary. But
Yeah.
most memorable for me would be the anniversary show. But I keep coming back to this tour we had in New Zealand and Australia because for me
Mm.
those gigs were like everything that I envisioned. Being in a in a band was like touring, going to places that you've never been before. And enjoying everything with your bandmates, and at the evening you go to the venue and play in front of your fans. And it was a whole different experience for me, and then something that I would treasure forever. And I'm just glad to be able to have done it with these guys. And I hope that sometime in the near future, when it's all clear and safe, we get to do it again.
Well, I guess that's the dream, right? I mean, like when you start a
Yeah,
band and you start playing gigs are gigs.
Yeah.
But when you're going on tour, just the whole idea of like, wow,
yeah,
pare, we're on tour.
we're on
Mm.
tour.
It's gonna happen. So what happened to you guys on tour? I mean, there was very successful shows, but did anybody get lost? Did anybody disappear? Did
somebody
anybody
got somebody
somebody
got very sore feet in Sydney from all the walking.
Yeah.
and who
Maki
was
cheers. Maki cheers.
Ah.
Cheers.
No. Yeah.
Oh, no,
Other
other
way
side.
around. Other side.
there you go.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cling.
Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is the only inuman we can actually do is the inuman
Yeah,
nowadays.
Inuman.
exactly.
So,
The Inu one.
Exactly.
okay, so when the gigs, and I'm not saying if, I'm saying when the live gigs come back. Um, where's the first place you'd like to play?
Anywhere.
If it,
For,
no,
for
if it,
me,
I
dalawa.
know anywhere, but anywhere. Let's do two answers. Okay, first is in the context of Manila.
Mm.
What venue would you like to play in
Mm.
Manila? And then what venue would you like to play internationally? Oh,
Ah,
let's dream big. Let's dream big, guys. Come
Manila
on.
is easy for me because I really miss 19 East right now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I
And
miss
12
the
monkeys.
and 12 monkeys also. I miss the crowd. I miss the,
19 East or 12 Monkeys?
the
Yeah.
venue. I miss the smell of the venue. I miss going there. You know, I miss the drinks and the food. But
I've got to say,
internationally,
I've
And
got to say 19 East and 12 Monkeys, I love them for two different reasons. 19 East is that you just can't go wrong with the sound there.
Yeah,
It's
right?
definitely.
such a pleasure playing there in 19 East. And then you step right outside, it's a smoking area. The convenience of it. 12 Monkeys, though, has a better bar. I
Mm,
mean, when you look at their bar, you're like, you guys have everything, you know?
uh,
So those
and
are
they
the
have
what about
and they have the
Sikopot?
palabok pizza. And they have the palabok pizza.
That's true. Oh, so Maki, ano yung international venue mo?
oh
Dream
man,
Wembley.
big. Dream big, pare. Dream big.
dream big. Excuse me. Um, I want to be able to play one of those festivals. Maybe
Mm.
I don't know. Big day out niyo, okay na ako.
Oh,
Australia.
yeah.
Australia.
I'm good with that. Uh,
Rockwell.
big day out is good. I'm fine with big day out.
Australia.
Oh, ikaw, Eugene.
No,
Australia yun eh.
Australia.
Australia.
Rockwell, Australia.
For me, obviously, like we miss the bar gigs talaga. Sobra kasi I love, we were asking a while ago yung mga best gigs namin. Well, 25th anniversary was a standout, but yung mga best gigs were the bar gigs. Kasi nga, you get to be intimate with the crowd. Diba? With your audience. Ang lapit eh. As opposed to ang layo, may barikada sa harapan mo, andun yung tao. And we can go crazy during bar gigs. So, kung babalik man, it would be like 19 East and 12 Monkeys again. Internationally, internationally, dalawa rin. We would like to go back to Vancouver kasi sobrang patok kami dun. 3 shows sold out on 2 occasions, and then San Francisco as well. San Francisco kasi the last time we were there was way back in 2005. And I could just remember it was again sold out. People were lining up already during our sound check. We were sound checking in the venue, and people were already lined up. So
Do you remember your venue? Do you remember your venue in San Francisco?
Oh, it was in the industrial area. It was a huge warehouse.
Big warehouse, I think.
Yeah, it was a huge warehouse in the industrial area. So I forgot. I think they rent that warehouse for gigs and for concerts and rave back then. Rave pa noon eh. Rave, yeah.
Happy G's.
Rave pa noon
Happy
eh.
G's.
Rave pa tawag na eh. Ngayon EDM na
Ring
raw.
party.
Lava Lounge.
Lava.
Tama, lounge. Paghahalata edad, Brad.
Cheers, Brad.
Kasama namin si Jet.
Okay, cheers.
Okay.
Cheers. Brad, ay.
Ikaw, Alan.
Kasama namin
Ikaw,
si
Alan.
Jet. Actually, there have been several inquiries and early negotiations and discussions yung hindi matuloy-tuloy na European tour eh. So hopefully that's one thing that kasi syempre between North America and in Europe medyo mas mahal yung mga requirements and technical requirements, and also yung for the producers mas malaki yung investment, but those are sana since naman dream big and matuloy na rin finally. So that's one thing na we would like to look forward to.
And I think that's what the Marfil brothers are preparing for. One is learning French and one is learning Spanish.
Yeah, ano.
So, sakto yan pag nag-European tour kayo, may translator na kayo.
Isibo ko por sale?
Pansit gisadwa.
Ikaw, Jake.
Pansit gisadwa.
Pansit gisatulo.
Anyway,
Duha.
if you were given a chance, kung matutuloy na rin yung US tour, sana baka tugtog tayo sa Vegas casinos. Yan, gusto ko.
Vegas, Las Vegas,
Tapat ng Quiapo Church.
Kala mo
Yan.
bigas kasi
Tapat ng
Kasi
Quiapo
mahal
Church.
na,
Las
mahal
Vegas.
na.
Tapat ng Quiapo Church, Las Vegas Disco.
Yan. Pwede. At saka sa Chico Clock. Pag tumana ka, Chico Clock na yan.
Chico Clock. Chico Clock.
No, I remember that gig. In Chico Clock. Di ba?
1,000 people, kasha ron.
Oo nga eh. But it wasn't our crowd. And there was this parang drunk na seaman. I was dancing like ganyan the whole night. Just parang nagbigay siya ng tip and then request. He wanted to hear Sailing by Rod Stewart.
Nagbigay ng $1.
Rod Stewart.
Brad. Rod Stewart daw. Galit na galit. Sabi ni Med was like, sorry po, hindi po namin tinutugtog to. Galit na galit. Nagwawala doon sa dance floor. Hindi nyo tinutugtog ng Sailing. Which nakakatakot. I forgot where. Jake, I think Chico Clock was in Caloocan. It was under the LRT.
Yeah.
Sa Caloocan.
It's near Quiapo, actually.
Diba? Chico Clock.
Yan.
Nagwawala siya, minumura niya kami. Hindi raw namin tinutugtog yung Sailing ni Rod Stewart.
Sobrang laki ng lugar. 10 lang ang nanood. Joke.
Siyempre,
How-
kinakabahan kami. All the PAs were like ready pag nagkagulo dito.
Has that ever happened to you though? You
Dapat
guys
hot
at the
legs
gig?
na lang.
Yun, hot legs, yun. Pwede.
Oh,
Di ba?
hot
Rod
legs.
Stewart pa rin.
Brad, at least, di ba? I mean, it's
Pero-
funny when you get requests
Pero
from
maganda yung
these
sailing.
guys.
Ayun, Doroteo
But
Jose.
No, the
Chico
thing,
Vlog.
he's a seaman kasi. He's a seaman. That's why
Yeah.
sailing was like
Of
really
course, yeah.
close to his heart.
Yeah.
Diba?
Sailor siya.
But that's one way of appeasing them. Like, when I used to play with June Lupito and Tears in Heaven came out, June would get so pissed off because he would always get requests for Tears in Heaven. I'm like, Tears in Heaven na naman. And June didn't actually like to play that song. So I told him, why don't we play another Clapton song? To at least, diba, appease. If we can't play this song by your
Tama.
artist, then let's play another song we know by the same artist. But has that ever happened to you guys? Na nagkagulo sa concert nyo and your PA said to come in and save, your roadie said to come in and save you? Wow, Eugene's like, yeah.
No, Jake, tell the story. Tell the story about that Puresa thing. Shout out sa mga taga Puresa.
Santa Mesa Med, right? Hindi,
Puresa.
sa Med. Mas dangerous yung ni Med eh. Situation eh.
We had this street gig sa Puresa. So it's like a barangay siya sa may Santa Mesa. So the whole night was fun. Parang lahat lang sila magkakapit bahay, magkabarangay. So everyone knew each other. The street was filled. Tapos mga katabi namin. Sa kaliwa, I remember the stage. It was a small stage. And there was just a small, ang tawag doon, parang backdrop sa likod. Something nakakagay doon ng San Miguel and all that. Sa kaliwa namin were houses. Yeah, sa likod namin were houses and apartment. Sa kaliwa namin. Sa kanan namin yung depot ng
Warehouse.
SMB. So nangyari was, warehouse. So ang saya-saya, and bigla na lang may nagkagulo, may nagkasuntukan na they probably knew each other naman din. Pero everyone was so drunk, everyone was having fun, everyone was drunk na sobra. Na yun, nagkainitan, there was just like a slight scuffle sa isang group na parang nagkaroon ng mass hysteria na lahat sila na nasaniban ng ewan. Nagbatuhan ng bote. Nagbatuhan, parang nagbasagan, nagbatuhan ng bote. I remember I had to hide. Yeah, I had to hide behind the amplifier, and I could feel the amplifier like really nudge every time a bottle of beer would hit it. So nakaano sa nararamdaman ko. And to make matters worse, may naglabas ng baril. So nagputukan pa na gano'n. So apart from the bottles flying, and I don't like broken glass everywhere. So yun, tas nagbarilan pa. Buti na lang, I remember si Andy, ginaid niya ako papunta sa depot. Doon kami nag-shelter. Yun, so that was scary kasi pwede na kami mamatay doon kung tamaan kami ng bala. Yeah.
Truefaith live in Iraq.
Parang gano'n. Iraq.
Meds, if you could feel the amp moving every time a bottle would hit it, ibig sabihin may laman pa yun eh. Bigat no, masakit yun.
Mabigat.
Yeah.
May laman
At
pa
saka
yun.
Malakas.
It was thrown with purpose. And
With
anger.
passion. With passion. With passion.
With passion.
I remember a time in the 90s where I was stage managing for the Pulp Summer Slams. And the Pulp will finally
Hold my beer.
yeah,
Jamie,
dude.
Jamie's like, oh, okay, dude, that happened to you guys. Hold my beer.
That's a tough man's gig. Tough man's gig.
It was actually funny because we were running the concert and I had to convince Vernon Go, who was in charge of Pulp Magazine, to invest in a net. Because I think we had done 2 years and just the amount of crap that's thrown at you on stage. Never mind if they're panties okay lang eh. Diba? Pero yung bote, mga
Bote.
sapatos, there was
Yeah.
one
Brief.
time, there was one time I found a
Mm.
brief, and man, like, and this was in the middle of the festival. We had like 10 bands on, and none of my crew wanted to clean it up. Where I'm like, I'm not picking it
Oh.
up. I'm not picking that up. None of the crew. So that brief actually stayed there until the final act because nobody wanted to touch it.
Yung
So
lente.
eventually, we had to invest in a net. And it's the weirdest sensation when you're on stage and you're
Mm.
playing, and the first thing you see is
My
a
net.
net, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, net had different problems of its own because when they would throw bottles that they managed, this was before they banned bottles, na, it was cups, diba?
Yeah.
It would hit the net and it would slide down
Mm.
the net, and it would hit naman my bouncers in the front.
Yeah.
So parang, kasi their eyes are on the
Mm.
audience, they see a bottle thrown, okay lang kasi it's the net, and then it would bounce off the net and hit them naman. I'm like, holy crap, you know? I remember having to stop a concert because basically on the radios we had SWAT teams from, this was in the Taguig open grounds before the fort came up, no? This was in the fort open grounds, and the policemen that we got as security were freaking out because, and I quota, their head of security was saying, "Sir, paano to, nagra-riot yung mga punk, isang magazine lang yung dala namin." Sabi ko, don't fire into the crowd. No, nobody fire into the crowd. And when we went to inspect the gulo, ang galing ng mga punks, you have to give it to them. Yung barricade namin was the containers on the container trucks. Okay, yan yung parang fence line namin. These punks got mobilized. All right? And they all got together to move one container 10 feet para makapasok sila kasi hindi nila ma-afford yung ticket.
Natulak.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, that's
Proper hoodlums.
That's
They-
proper
they-
hoodlums.
Yeah.
That's cooperation, right?
Yep. I've seen that in concerts for Pearl Jam, concerts for the one where we had Sonic Youth, Beastie Boys, and Foo Fighters. When they really get together, they can
Hooligans.
achieve things.
Hooligans.
Man, you do anything to get into a concert, man, especially
Yeah.
being told you can't go in. You know, but it's funny because I would not have thought that these things would happen at your gigs. Pop SummerSlam, yeah. You know, the acts we had there, yeah. But at your gigs,
Death
to have,
Angel.
to have Barilan and, Meds had to hide behind an amp, that's amazing.
Actually, there were three of us who hid behind the bass amp. Nagkasya kami. Nagkasya kami.
That's amazing. Collective action. Yes, Adrian. Yeah. Collective action. Talaga. We can achieve many things if we only get together.
Yeah.
And I was quite surprised because I had never seen, and these guys
true.
were like, these guys, our security back then, they were SWAT teams, huh? And I've never seen a whole bunch of SWAT guys so afraid because they didn't know how to handle punks and mass. Like one punk, maybe two punks, maybe, but there were like more than 100 punks
The punks.
who
The
moved that
punks.
container, and the cops did not know what the hell to do. So I had to tell them, do not fire into the crowd. I'll stop the concert. So I stopped the concert, and I had to go on stage and make the announcement that we're stopping until you guys quiet down. And of course, the worst thing to tell a bunch of punks is to quiet down.
Quiet down.
So mas lalo pang naging wild. Sabi ko,
Definitely.
Oh.
how are we gonna do this? And then the worst part about that night is after the concert was over and people were going on. They are dangerous.
Dangerous.
yung pinakamalala pa doon is all the production people left right away without telling me. Naiwan
Ay.
ako na mag-isa. Ako yung pinaka-visible. Ako nag-stop ng concert, 'di ba? Sabi ko, paano ako uuwi? Ang daming galit sa akin. At nandun pa sila. But I think that was part of our learning curve, in our our the rock festivals that we've had,
Yeah.
especially when the scenes were blowing up. It was the
Mm.
first time that all of us were actually going into a gig together. You had different tribes, eh? You had
Yeah.
your crowd, you had the
Mm.
punks, you had the slammers, you had the rockers and all that, but everybody would gather together, and we had to learn how to deal with each other, or the
Yeah.
concert would be stopped.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing about these big
Mm.
festivals that we don't see a lot of anymore, because like with the bar gigs, you have your crowd coming to you on a certain night.
Yeah.
In these
Mm.
provincial gigs that you go to where the mayor is wondering why are they drunk, that's a different animal altogether.
True.
But I think now, especially with the international concerts that have come in, where everybody is a fan of from all walks of life are coming in. I think just as we've learned to figure out how to deal with each other in a concert setting as a crowd,
Mm.
that's when the concerts were stopped because of the pandemic. So
Oo nga.
I think it's gonna be some sort of renaissance when when the pandemic is over, everybody's been vaccinated, people are able to gather again and watch live music or live theater or live dance or whatever it is. I think now it's gonna be a great equalizer because people will just be so happy to be out
Right,
and
right.
Yes.
listening to a live band.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I hope when that happens that I am invited to your gig, because
Wow.
You're
man,
always
Yeah.
welcome.
I'll
Oo,
probably
next
be
time.
there.
Yes.
I'll probably be there backstage with a bottle, helping calm you guys down.
Yeah.
I'll be your
Yeah.
bartender. you know. Okay, guys. So we're going into a section that we're calling the rundown, where I'm going to be asking you 10 quick questions each. Okay.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna call you out now. It's to answer these questions, it's just the first thing that comes to your mind. No need to explain it. Okay. No need to explain your answer. It's just the first thing top of your head what your answer would be. Okay, so let's start out with the first question. What is your favorite word? And let's go with Jake. Jake, what is
True.
your favorite word?
True.
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 Very good.
Uh,
Meds. Meds ka talaga.
Tigibig po.
Yung gusto ko yung pagkabigkas ni wala pala explanation, no? Indubitably, kasi dun sa supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, yung pagkasabi ni Dick Van Dyke ng indubitably, yan, gusto ko yun.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
Very good. Alan, what's your favorite word?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Maki.
Kebab.
Okay. Okay.
And Eugene, what is your favorite word?
Ass.
Do we dare ask for an explanation?
It means a lot of things. You're
Okay,
an
question.
ass. You're a damn good ass. Ass means a lot of things.
True. Okay, question number 2. What is
True.
your least favorite word? Eugene, let's start with you.
Pain. Ooh, lalim.
Maki?
Overtime.
Alam.
Naparinig ka ba?
Failure.
Failure. Yeah. Sucks, man. Meds.
Yun na yun.
DDS.
It's not even a word. That's an acronym.
Ako maisip.
Wala akong maisip na least favorite word.
First thing that comes to your mind.
First thing.
Napapasok ako gout.
Gout. Yes,
For the win.
that's
For the
bad.
win.
That's bad. And Jake, what's your least favorite word?
Better.
Better. Better.
Kala ko age eh.
You want some explanation?
Like you can do better.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
So I'll go for the best.
Go for the. That's true. That's true. Okay, question number 3. What turns you on? Jake, let's start with you.
Porn.
Switch. On. No.
Oh, kanino?
Galing. That's if we were ranking answers, that would be in the top 10. What about you, Meds? What turns you on, Meds?
Kindness. Kindness.
Kindness. Good. Alan?
Learning.
Learning. Maki?
A woman with confidence.
Oh.
That's not a word.
That's not the word.
That's not a word. That's not a word.
It doesn't have to be a word.
Confidence.
It doesn't have to be a word. It just what
Okay,
turns you
there
on.
you go.
Oh. And Eugene, I'm almost afraid. Eugene, what turns you on?
Brains.
Brains. Okay, in direct contrast, Eugene, what turns you off?
Oh. Daftness.
Daftness.
Daftness. Cheerio.
Daftness.
Bloody
eh?
daftness.
You have to say it with an accent. Daftness.
Daftness.
Are you
But you have to. Yeah, daftness. You don't have it in English. I mean, an American English. Diba? Ano man daftness sa amin, diba?
All right. The English accent is on. Eugene is getting drunk.
Yeah. Cheerio.
See, that's why you should do a European tour. This is
Cheerio,
one another reason to do a European tour.
Hello, neighbor.
Ikaw,
Hello,
Maki.
neighbor.
Maki, what turns you off?
A woman with overconfidence.
Is that a word?
And Alan, what turns you off?
Rudeness. So
Rudeness.
yeah.
Meds?
That's given.
Cruelty.
Cruelty. And Jake?
Lousy.
Lousy. Being lousy. Kala ko switch na naman eh.
Actually, naghahanap ako.
Switch off. Switch off.
Dali lang.
Okay, next question. Jake, this goes to you. Huh? Let's start with you. What sound or noise do you love?
Cash register. Silingin ng cash register.
Ka-ching, ka-ching! I love it. All right. Ikaw, Meds.
The sound of rain on the roof.
Nice. That's always a nice sound. Alan?
Yeah, the sound of silence.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Hello, darkness, my old
Inom
friend.
pa.
And Maki.
My bass on a powerful amp.
There you go. Eugene?
The sound of surf on the shore.
Oh, baller.
Yes.
That's nice. Okay,
Crash pad.
going back into it. What sound or noise do you hate? Eugene?
Nails on a chalkboard.
Ugh. Yeah.
On the blackboard, yeah.
Maki?
Currently, this jackhammer that I hear every morning, there's a construction site nearby. I hate it.
That's the worst, man. That's the worst when you can't shut it off.
No.
Alan, ikaw, what sound or noise do you hate?
Actually, basically, people who are too loud or yung mga, kunwari, people congregating that are trying to let everyone hear what they're talking about.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Like what we're doing right now.
Oh my God,
Like what we're doing right now.
you're gonna hate going out with theater people, man, because we're all fucking loud. I swear. We're all using our on-stage voice in a small bar. It's the most
Yeah.
annoying thing in the world, but we have no idea we're actually doing it.
You are dangerous.
Jesus Christ.
Ikaw, Meds, what sound or noise do you hate?
Medyo ano siya kasi I find it cute, but it's also, I think it's the saddest sound, so I kind of hate hearing it. So an abandoned kitten crying sa may sa may talahiban, sa may
Stereo.
garbage area. So nakaka-hurt So yeah, so I don't want to hear it, but I don't know, it's cute because it's coming from a kitten, but it's also very sad. So I don't want to hear it too.
True. That is stressful and sad at the same time. And you, Jake?
Ito yung safe answer. I have two. Dala ko lang.
Oh, sige, go.
Yung drilling in my neighbor. Drilling in the morning.
My drilling na 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 na.
At saka
Drilling
nagging.
in the morning.
And nagging.
Nagging.
I particularly hate
Drilling.
I hate drills because then they start getting, when they're going into something like harder than
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Break.
Tapos
Yung
tumataas
pitch.
yung pitch,
Tumataas
tapos
yung
parang
pitch.
nasa dentista.
Oh.
That's the worst. Oh, yeah. That's the worst.
7
Alright.
a.m.
Check it out.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. That's cruel and inhumane, man.
Drilling
Malapit
in
na.
the morning.
La 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 la.
Drilling in the morning.
Okay. Next question. Jake, we're gonna start with you. What is your favorite shower song? What do you sing in the shower? And don't try to deny it. We all sing in the shower, guys.
You are.
While you're soaping yourself, you're singing to yourself. You are perfect. Okay, Meds, ikaw. What do you sing in the shower?
I only get to sing sa shower pag nasa labas kami sa hotel. Parang ganyan pag nasa hotel room. I like singing yung ano nga ba yung title nun sa Sound of Music, yung kay Julie Anderson. I have confidence in me.
Dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have confidence in me. Yeah.
I have confidence and confidence, and that's a nice fast song.
Confidence and sunshine.
Yeah.
Confidence in rain.
Ikaw, Alan.
Actually, I don't really sing in the shower or anywhere. But,
What do you do? You just hum.
Paki-off yung
can't
internet! Paki-off!
shower naman, wala ka pang dala.
Sabay lalabas. Sino nagpatay ng internet?
So, Alan, you do not sing in the shower. Are you sticking by your story?
Yeah, I don't. I'm
Okay,
really
if you could sing a song in the shower, what would it be?
Personal uses.
Ang hirap probably
You
some
are
of one of
dangerous.
You're the
I
biggest
don't
part
know.
of me. You're the biggest part of me.
I have the left and
You're the biggest part of me. Sunlight.
Okay. I'm gonna move up to Maki
Yeah,
because
move
Oh,
I
up na
can't
kay Maki.
wait.
masagutin niyo
I
muna si
can't
Alan.
wait to see what Eugene will do next.
Yeah.
Maki, what do you sing in the shower?
Um, Wind your body, wiggle your belly, keep on go down to the new style.
Sugar!
Apache Indian!
Shaggy!
Oh my
Hindi,
Apache
God.
Indian.
Apache Indian!
Boom!
Hindi
Apache
Shakalaka!
Indian.
Shaggy, hindi
Sugar!
Shaggy.
Boom!
Apache.
Shakalak to all the women I want. Woman in a flex naman na mga chance.
Parang ang bilis ng shower mo. Ang hectic. Ang hectic ng shower. Okay, and we go to Eugene. Oh my God, Eugene, what do you
Ako,
sing in the shower?
I grew up with Sesame Street. So akin,
Yeah, wholesome yan, wholesome.
Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Rubber ducky.
Again, so fun. Yeah, rubber ducky ako. Balik tayo
Rubber
kay
ducky.
Alan.
No, we shouldn't go back to Alan because I don't know what you're going to do, Eugene. It's like you're singing.
Yeah.
It's like you're singing for him. That's not fair. Now, when you guys go on tour again, and you're going to remember this when you are in the shower, and
Oh!
all of you are going to be singing all the song recommendations for Alan while Alan is quiet in the shower.
Alan, Blink
As long-
182. All the small
long-
things.
O kaya, Alan, I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy for mo.
Oh,
Okay.
the small
Okay.
things.
Okay, next question. All right, what habit or behavior annoys you the most? Eugene, let's start with you.
Which one? A behavior among my
What habit or behavior annoys
Somebody
you the
else.
most?
somebody
Somebody
else's
else's or your
behavior?
own could be, or your bandmates.
Well, for me, I procrastinate a lot. Ever since I was in high school, I'm the great procrastinator. I always leave things at the last minute. Even during recording, I'm like really the last person would be like, yeah, let them record first. Let them lay their tracks first. Lay on? No, just to lay their tracks first. And then I'd be like, okay, ako na. So well, most of the time I'm usually the last one to lay in my tracks because I really procrastinate a lot and I hate that. I want to change it, but then again, it's worked for me all this time. Why change it?
That's true. That's true.
Ah, masarap
I'm a
uminom eh.
crammer as well. Sometimes the best ideas come when you absolutely have to do it
Yeah.
because the deadline is there.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Ikaw,
Mm.
Maki, what habit or
Oh.
behavior annoys you the most?
Well, from other people, that what really annoys me is when exactly the same thing that Alan mentioned earlier. When people kind of like are not conscious of their own space, and then they just like spew out words, and I kind of like play a game with it in my head. I try to answer what they're saying, try to come up with witty answers, smart alecky answers. But yeah, that thing annoys me the most, especially when
Yeah.
you're in a crowded elevator.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. Like I don't need to know your entire life story on this very short
Exactly.
elevator ride right now.
Exactly.
That's true. Ikaw, Alan.
It comes with,
Same.
I don't know, hindi, very ako na, I don't like time wasters. Kasi when I was working and doing corporate jobs, parang a lot of these meetings that you attend to for me, are very unproductive. Instead of doing the actual work, you just sit there and listen
Chika
to
chika.
everyone. Yeah, and those things for me are behaviors or habits na sa akin, it's aksaya ng panahon. So, yun. Medyo masungit yung dating, but that's Pero I don't I don't verbalize it, pero sa akin lang I just I'm a very patient person, but to me, for me, those kind of behavior, parang respect my time also, parang ganun yung
Agreed.
That's
Agreed. Ikaw, Meds.
Para sa akin yung people who don't know how to text back, especially if it's an important if it's an important if it's an important discussion and then scene zone lang or not texting back, or even worse, somebody who texts just with the letter K. Yeah. I mean,
That's the worst.
I understand. I understand naman na some people are busy and all that, so naiintindihan ko. So naiintindihan ko yun, but it's still a pet peeve, you know what I'm saying?
True. I agree. And you, Jake, what habit or behavior annoys you the most?
Actually, those people who make stories just to make utang, yun, and it's getting nagiging habit na nila.
Parang daming umutang sa'yo.
Parang, ginamit mo na yan 2 weeks ago, di ba?
Madali kang utangan, ibig sabihin.
Mahirap yung ganun, di ba? Parang, you know naman that, yes, Audrey. Sabi ni Audrey, it's so specific, Jake. Parang this has happened to you too many times.
So specific.
Few minutes ago. Oy! Alam ko lang.
few minutes ago. Okay. Okay, let's go to our next question. The other boys who left the room can catch up when they get back. But okay, if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would that be? Only one. Jake, let's start with you.
Kasi wala si Eugene. Nag-usap na kami si Ivana Alawi. Dalawa.
Dadami fans mo niyan.
Anyways, international, parang gusto subukan yung si Daryl Hall.
Parang fun. Yung Daryl's house. Yung Daryl's house. Saya. And ang ganda ng mga renditions ng mga songs niya. I mean, when you go, when you're collaborating with people like, Train, and then the next guest is like, the guy, si Joe Walsh, you're like, wow, man.
I think that was that show was done even pre-pandemic, di ba?
Oh,
pre-pandemic.
In fact, they were already
doing
that formula already.
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Matagal na.
I think Daryl Hall would be that would be a fun collaboration. Okay, let's go with Alan. Alan, who would you collaborate with? Any artist, living or dead, but only one.
Yeah. Medyo cliche, but yun nga, syempre I'd like to work with one of my guitar heroes, which is Johnny Marr. So
Johnny Marr.
Siguro that's one collaboration na siguro lang, more of a wish list lang siya.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you, Maki?
I would love to collaborate with Haircut 100.
Wow.
Kailangan mo ng haircut eh.
Haircut.
You need a haircut. You need a haircut. You need a haircut 400.
Yeah, Haircut 400. Trip na trip ko kasi yung how they meshed pop with, I'm a sucker for good trumpet lines. And yung song nila na Love Plus One really is still one of my favorites. So parang actually dream ko is to come up with, a song that, something like that. Ganong direction. But if not, kung pwede pa mag-collaborate with the Haircut 100, why not?
Why not?
Or Herb Alpert.
Ikaw, Meds, who would you collaborate with? Any artist, living or dead?
Sa local na nag-pass away na, sana pala naka-collaborate namin si Rico J. Puno. Tapos nakasama namin before si Rick Sigreto, and I got to know him very well. Not very well. I mean, we got to hang out couple years before, 3 years before he died, then we did shows. So sana na we did the recording with him. Sayang yon, sayang yon. And pag sa foreign naman, parang gusto ko makaduet si Lana Del Rey.
Oh. Nice,
Kasi
nice.
si Eugene pala nagsiset up uli ng MacBook ko. So, nawala yun.
Oh, wala. He misses out on this question. Okay, last question.
I might have to help him again.
Oh no. Oh, last question. I'll take you first, Meds. Okay. When you get to heaven, what do you want God to say to you?
Ano ba? It was fun, right?
It was fun, right, mate?
Nice, 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 nice. Ikaw, Jake.
Mabait kang tao.
Nice.
Walang iya kayo. Ayaw nyo.
Oh, parang may gusto kumontra eh.
Ayaw nila.
Ikaw, Alan. What do you want God to say to you?
Siguro, yeah, you did your best. That's it.
Good.
But your
Maki?
best wasn't good enough.
What about you, Maki? What do you want God to say to you?
That's all, Mackie. That's all, Mackie.
Parang
Parang
pig,
that's all pig.
That'll do. That'll do. That'll do.
That'll do,
Mackie.
that'll do, Mackie.
That'll do.
That'll
Si
do.
Get a haircut,
Sige,
Maki.
boy.
Get a haircut. Okay,
Yo,
ito, one for the
sana.
road. One for the road. Okay, so you guys have been playing music for the longest time. You've been together, ups and downs, ins and outs, and you guys have stayed true to your musical taste and your musical influences and your musical identity throughout the years. What words of wisdom or advice would you give to any artist just starting out in music today? Meds, let's start with you.
Lagi kong sinasabi sa pag every time we get asked that we're asked that question, lagi kong sagot is yung if I were to give advice, siguro it's find your voice. Katulad ng sinabi sa klase natin with Rick Olivares, find your voice. If you wanna be a writer, find your voice. Same thing as well with being a musician, find your style. Same thing with being a singer, being in a band, being an artist. Find your voice, find your style, and it's all right to get inspiration from your idols, from the ones you admire, emulate their strengths. You can imitate what makes them very unique and very very vibrant, as artists. But at the same time, in the process of doing these things, you have to find what is your truth. Find what is your truth. What is your story? What do you want to convey? What do you want to say? And ako mismo as a songwriter, I'm still in that journey. After all these years, I'm still in that journey to find myself. And you know what? Yung yung writing class natin, Rick, it's actually making me realize some things. Some parts of me, some nooks in my personality that I never realized. So that's the best advice I could get. You have to find your own voice. You have to find your own style. You expound on the very characteristic that makes you who you are.
Nice. Okay, Maki, let's go to you. What advice would you give artists starting out with music now?
Yeah, well, adding on to what Med said, it's important to find your voice and at the same time try to find inspiration from the artists that have inspired you. But at the same time, my advice would be to just keep putting it out there, just keep creating. I know it's hard right now to, some of us might not be in the right mindset to create because of all of these things that's happening. But at the same time, I think it's key that as musicians, as artists, as creators, we have to keep creating because that's where we're here for. And when we do that, when you create, it's not enough to just like um, create something for yourself. You got to put it out there, because that's the only thing that that ensures that people will get to realize who you are and what your voice is, diba? So you got to put it out there. You got to have the conviction to and the bravery to put it out there and the courage to put it out there. I think I saw a video a while ago about um, artists like Paul Simon selling their catalog to
Yeah,
Sony and
a lot of
everything.
them
Yeah,
doing that. Yeah,
right, for a whole lot of money. And then what does that say? It 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 means that to a certain extent, some record labels are kind of like hesitant to put their money on young composers and not so established composers, because they feel that they haven't really proven it. But to me, because the challenge is for you to just, as a young composer or as an unknown composer, is to put your stuff out there, and it takes years, and to understand, that it takes years for an artist to hone their craft. Like bands like U2, acts like, the established acts out there didn't come up with these hits overnight. In fact, si U2 came up with their hit, yung talagang hit, massive hit, like the Joshua Tree
Joshua
album pa.
Tree.
It was like 7 years into their career. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but yun yung di ba? So you just have to keep
Mm.
putting it out there, and at the same time you hone your craft, you know? And at the same time you wait patiently for your break, but at the same time you put in work as if you're on a deadline. If you have that mentality, I believe na makukuha mo rin yun eventually, di ba? Like you said, Jamie, earlier, na parang hindi lahat ng music is to be discovered right here and right now. There's a certain moment na madidiscover yan. Walang makakaalam when your break is gonna be. Pero at the same time, nasa sa'yo yun as an artist to keep honing your craft, keep working at it, keep getting better, and keep putting it out there in the hopes
Yeah,
na malay mo, somebody might just, hey, I like your stuff. Di ba?
yeah.
Especially with the tools that we have now on social media. Who knows, paglagabas ka lang ng di ba, whatever song that you came up with, and then it catches like wildfire, wala namang makakasabi nun right now. But the tools are there. It's just up to us as artists to keep creating, because that's what we're here for. I believe yun tayo eh. Pag artist ka, you're a creator. That's what your punot dulo mo sa mundong to. Yun yung mako-contribute mo sa kanya eh. Parang that's what So I hope na walang ma-discourage, kasi right now the music industry is still in a flux. People are still trying to figure out how to make, how to make it out there.
Yeah.
Pero sana walang ma-discourage, kasi nandiyan yung tools eh, and people have been proving it. These young artists have been proving it na with platforms like Kumu and other stuff that's out there. Ako personally, kami we're an old band, pero what's stopping us, di ba, from discovering other ways to break out? Same as with other artists, it's a whole new ball game, and it's exciting at the same time. Medyo challenging siya because you don't know what you're stepping into. Pero I believe na pag nakuha mo yon, pag yung the stuff that you put out there is good and people like it, yun na yun eh. That's the just keep creating and just keep putting your stuff out there. Don't be afraid. Kasi
Don't be
wala
afraid.
namang, nobody got it the first time around. Yun yung point nun eh. Even these established acts, wala naman yan eh. Parang paglabas niyan, hit ka agad, di ba? So, ganun. Just keep trying if yun talaga yung gusto mo, di ba?
Nice. Thank you, Mackie. What about you, Alan? Any advice
Yeah,
to any artist now?
I'll just reiterate lang what have been said. It's really yun nga, just continue creating. That's one. Number two is continue honing your craft. If you're how I started in music as a guitar player, and before I even decided to even write my own songs. So nandun yung love for music and love for the instruments. So been playing the guitar for more than 3 decades already, and I still continue to learn new things with playing the guitar. And I discovered it from younger players, and so, and I suppose yun siguro yung ma-impart ko ring advice sa mga young guitar players there and even composers. You just continue uh, mastering your instrument and your craft, and again put it out there. And with the technology of, we can just record it in your laptop or in your computer and put it out in the streaming services. So, and even YouTube or whatever platform it's available. So if you really want this, you just continue doing it. So yun lang yung siguro, you don't stop. The same way with us, we've been in the business for more than decades already,
Oo nga.
and several decades already, and we're just here. So
We still
just
don't know jack
continue.
shit.
That's why we also learn in the process. So
Yeah, we'll also learn a lot from the young artists. The
Yeah.
new ones who are out
That's
there.
true.
What about
Yun
you,
lang.
Jake? Anything to add, Jake?
Lagi ko naman sinasabi na keep reaching your goal. Tapos, when you have it, keep your feet on the ground. Huwag kang yayabang.
Nice.
Yeah, mayabang ako.
Nice.
Ito yun.
Sablay. Maganda na sana Pumayag.
Okay na sana. Oh, okay. And then we
Okay
shall
na
end
sana.
this. We shall end this question with Eugene. Eugene, any advice to anybody just starting out in music today?
Don't be afraid to be weird. Don't be afraid to be called weird. Right? Be original. Diba? Don't be afraid to be called weird. Be original. I've been called, addict nung high school ako. Pero hindi naman ako nag-drugs nung high school ako. Pero I've
Nung
been
college
called
na lang.
Tama sila. Pero tumigil ako. Biktima lang, Brad. Biktima lang.
Wala namang ginagawa sa inyo yun eh.
Naging biktima. No, yeah. I mean, don't be afraid to be called weird. Diba? Na parang you're experimenting on new stuff. You're trying new stuff na hindi nila ginagawa. You see, that's the thing with being creative. You have to try new stuff. Hindi porke ginagawa ni ganito yan, gagawin mo na. Wag kang kokopya. Sige, get inspiration from that person who's doing this stuff. Let's say, for example, this group who's doing this music. Yeah, get inspiration. Let's say, for example, nung panahon namin, Depeche Mode. Get inspiration from Depeche Mode and then try to put your own stuff. Try to create something. I mean, sa totoo lang, everything is a remix.
Yeah.
Diba? Sobrang tagal na ng music. Sobrang tagal na yung mga nota na yan. Simula pa ng panahon ng mga caveman. May nota na. Everything is, diba? Everything has been there. So, everything has been done before. But it's what you do with what was done before.
Yeah.
You try to take
Make it your own
something
iteration.
you take something from this, you take something from that, and you make your own.
Yeah.
And that's
what
the thing.
Sting said.
Yeah. And see, that's what you do. You create a new thing, and people might say you're weird. It's okay, because conformity is boring.
Agreed.
You're weird, brother.
Of course I am. Damn straight.
What a weirdo.
Damn straight, I'm weird.
But hey, man, if we weren't weird, if there was no
True.
weird in this world, there wouldn't be any art.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
If everybody was, normal,
Truefaith.
I'm actually more afraid of normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
cog, a cog in the damn
True Faith
machine.
is weird. True Faith is
Yeah, you
weird
guys,
off
you
stage.
guys,
On
you,
stage, mix of I'm on stage. On stage, it's a balance of conformity na and weirdness.
Okay, Maki, I have to toast you like this right now.
oh, kasi
Where
iba
are
na
you,
yung square
brother?
mo.
Oh,
Cheers,
yeah.
guys.
There you
Cheers.
are.
Cheers.
And hey,
There you
in
go.
honor of my
Cheers,
last,
Jamie.
on
Cheers.
to the last call, the
Yeah.
last call for this show. You guys have a new album coming out. So when is it
Yep.
coming
Yes.
out? What can we
Um,
expect? And when can we expect it?
Jamie, I have to
yeah.
say this. I've been listening to the stuff that we have, the remixes, and not that I'm drunk or anything, but
Yes,
Cheers.
you are.
I
Yes,
Yes, you
love
are.
listening to the new songs that is
Definitely.
coming up on Truefaith's next album, which is 11,
11.
entitled 11, which is incidentally our 11th album. And I love the songs that are lined up for this album. And I'm very,
Yes.
very excited. I'm
Mhm.
very hyped as to when this will be released under Viva Records. And I don't know, but the guys, I'm pretty sure they're also really, really, really excited to have this album released. I love the songs. I love listening to them, and I just, I rarely listen to stuff that I make. But this one, I love listening to it, and
That's
I'm
that's a good
enjoying
sign.
Over and
listening
over.
to it over and over. Yeah, and I love these guys. I love the music that we were able to come up with, and I'm really
Somebody's
proud of
crying.
Love
11.
your
Yeah,
yes.
I
Okay, that's really exciting because if you like listening to it
I
over and
love it.
over again, then that's gonna be great. Eugene has been raising one hand and then two
Yeah.
hands. Yes, Eugene.
Who? Who is this broken man littering up my home? You're in deep trouble, friend. May sasagot dapat. Dapat may sasagot. Someone cries King
Promo na, pro.
of the
Pro album
Jews.
promo.
No, but that's
Tangina.
great. So
Tangina,
we're gonna
Maki,
have
para kasi
Andy,
Jesus.
Andy.
no, but that's great because 11 albums. There's gonna be your 11th album. Incidentally, it's your. Well, I don't know why it's
And,
incidentally 11 because it's
yeah,
it's your 11th album. But I for one can't wait to hear
Yeah.
your new music. I'd like to thank you guys for coming on the show tonight.
Thank
You guys
you.
were so
Mm.
much
Thank
fun.
you.
And once the gigs come back, I'll be your bartender backstage and I'll make sure that no director will deny you any alcohol. I'll just make sure I'll just make sure you guys get your drinks little by little.
We
All
have to
right?
say
Yes, Meds.
we have to say hello nga pala to Kaka, our drummer who can't be with us tonight. So Kaka.
My roommate.
And
We should
to
have
our
talked
manager Andy.
we should have talked about Kaka all night kasi wala siya dito eh.
Oh, man.
Oh, that dude likes to talk
May
for
babatiin pa
hours
ako. May babatiin pa ako,
before I
Jamie.
go
Okay
to
lang?
sleep.
Yeah, go for it, Meds. Go for it. Yeah, shout out all you want.
Yeah. So, hello again to Rick Olivares, our teacher, and our friends namin ni Rick, si Robert and Tasha of
Eric.
Backspacer Records, and si Erwin Ursua, our classmate, who has been absent for
Erwin.
ilang sessions. And
Oh,
to
nga.
manager Andy.
Andy. Derek Villarino.
Derek
That's the
Mia.
Villarino,
family.
hello.
They're shouting out to all the True Faith fans who've tuned in tonight.
Bing
Thank you for
Austria.
tuning in. Papa Bing, that would be a nice collaboration if you don't mind me saying right there. I'd love to see a duet.
Oh.
I'm
know,
going to
Northern
a nice
Soul.
place.
complete
Northern
with
Soul. That
Northern
would be
Soul
nice.
and
Yeah.
True Faith. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you so much. And thank
Galing
you so
nun.
much
Galing
for
nun.
staying true and keeping the faith because you guys are still at it, still going strong. And from what I have heard tonight
Thank
and what
you.
I've seen tonight, you guys are a prime example of, the root reason why people get into a band is to create and to make music and also to enjoy each other's company. So I would like to see the
Yeah,
True
have
Faith
fun.
backstage and how fully weird you guys are. Um,
Freaky.
I don't know, Eugene. I think I'd get along with you the most, but I think I'd also be afraid.
Eugene.
Afraid.
But guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, and
Thank
we're looking
you.
forward to the next album. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. True Faith. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you,
Take
Thank you.
care.
Jamie.
On
Thank you,
Panaderia.
Audrey. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Take
Thanks,
care.
Audrey.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you. Bye. Good night.
That was fantastic. I mean, you got to give it to a band who's been around and playing so many gigs, going on tours, and they're still creating. And if you listen to every single piece of advice that they gave to new artists right now, these are coming from guys who you can say would have rested on their laurels, but no, they're still learning. They're still trying. They're still putting it out there. And they're about to release their 11th album. And that's something that I am really looking forward to listening to. And when this pandemic is over, definitely a band that I would love to see take that stage and experience live again. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. That's On the Rocks. That was True Faith. Just a few mentions from our friends from Offshore Music. There's new music coming out. Eliza Marie has released a full-length album called All These Angels. Sunset has a new single out called Mumble. All right, and that's featuring Isa Ferez. Sulo has a new kick-ass single out as well called Pugadlawin, and the boys from Suspiria Pink have collaborated with the amazing Sab Magalona on a new single called Lonely Hearts, available on all streaming platforms only from Offshore Music. We'd like to thank the Misty Mountain Cafe for their lovely premium blended coffee, and of course, my constant source of happiness, Buenos Dias Panaderia. Your Milo buns are to die for. Thank you so much for always supporting the show. Thank you so much to our friends from Liquor.PH. And hey, they've got an announcement. Liquor.PH has an all American liquor sale and it's extended for April. Liquor.PH is extending the all American liquor sale, now available until the end of April. They give you the most diverse selections of American spirits this side of the Pacific Ocean with great deals on bottles and bundles featuring the likes of Jack Daniels, Wild Turkey, Tito's Vodka, Evan Williams, and so many more. Try out these Hallmark Liquors of America today and get up to 30% off on individual bottles and bundles while supply lasts. That's Liquor.PH. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you so much for my Jack Daniels rye. I'm on fire, just like the guys from True Faith. Sure, we're on fire tonight. So, yeah, man, thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'm Jamie Wilson reminding you to please stay safe, stay strong, stay sane, and if you can, stay home and keep on rocking and keep on rolling. And if all else fails, just let the music keep you going. And if you find that life gets a little shaken or stirred, mixed up or on the rocks, what matters most is that you take your shot. Cheers, everybody. Thank you very much, and good night. On the Rocks with Jamie Wilson, brought to you by Offshore Music. Go where the sound takes you.